Hello, I'm Jeremy Bramwell, and welcome to our presentation on bare land subdivisions. Basically, there's three types of bare land subdivisions, what we would call rural, urban, and complex. The rural bare land subdivision, the components are roads, community septic fields and pumps, community water, wells, or city water. A more urban bare land subdivision typically have curbs and gutters, city water and sanitary servicing, street lights, fencing, parks, or RV parking. What I would term as complex bare land subdivisions are amenity based. So they'll have a lot of amenities, including fountains, tennis courts or basketball courts, and usually have a clubhouse with a pool. They might have guest suites, that sort of thing. At this point, I'm going to assume that you have gone through the earlier videos. Now, for the minimum threshold level, as was discussed earlier, it is 1% of the operating budget for that year, or $1,000 in a rural, $1,500 in an urban, and $2,000 in a more complex bare land subdivision. The reason is that the amount of components, the requirements are much lower. The budget is much lower in a rural than it is in a complex, and therefore there's not as much money around to make those kind of changes. Also, things like pumps are typically under $2,000, but above $1,000. So that would be within, something that the CRF would want to cover off. Allowances or contingencies. Rural bare land subdivisions typically have a lot of allowances. In that case, they can go up to as high as 50% of the budget. That declines as you get into more and more sophisticated types of components. When we get to bare land subdivisions and all the components that are part of that, we see the proportion of allowances down to 15-20%, something more in line what we would see within an apartment building. And for the urban category, we would see something in between. Reserve adequacy, or the method that we benchmark the financial health of a strata corporation, as was discussed earlier. It goes between 0% to 25% in bare land subdivisions. And when I talk about 0%, this is especially true in rural ones. We tend to see that there are developments that have no contingency reserve fund, so it would be zero. And anytime that they need any money, they typically just have a special assessment. Everybody shares the cost, and that's the way it is. Of course, within a depreciation report, there has to be a mandatory depreciation report or contingency reserve fund contribution under the act that was changed recently. So that would get above zero. As we get into the more complex ones, the reserve adequacy range goes as high as 25%, like it would in a typical apartment building in British Columbia. And then the urban would, of course, fall somewhere in the center. I hope you have found this presentation informative. Please feel free to contact us at any one of our three offices or email us at clientcare@stratareserveplanning.com. If you would like to continue to listen to our videos as they come up, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much and have a good day.